reduce the font size here so the gap between this border and this border is not so significant. But you cannot do that without changing this one so that it's not right up against the table, merged with the table. So now we have a small gap between that border and the vertical border, and then we'll go right here, go dot 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 or dash 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 enter, focus back above the line, change the font size to the lowest one we can, and now we have a small gap at the top and bottom. So at least it matches up. It's not what I like, but it matches up. And as you can see in the print preview, it doesn't really look so bad. I'll zoom in a little bit because I know this is going to be shrunk down by the time I transcode it. So that's what you got. All right. Now we're going to be typing our body. And so we're going to want to go back to being left justify. We're going to want to get rid of the bold option. We're going to want to set our font size back down to 12. Again, that's the minimum allowed font size for a lot of legal documents. And we'll tab in and we'll just type a short sentence. And we will turn it into a paragraph. That was lovely. Let's try that again. Alright. For those of you, again, who are brand new to computers, quick shortcut. As you see, a lot of you are probably doing this right here. You're probably highlighting the line, right-clicking, choosing copy, then going to the end of the line, right-clicking, and choosing paste. Well, their keyboard shortcuts for copy and paste are the same across all systems, Windows, Unix, Linux. If you highlight something and hit Control-C, it will copy it. When it copies it, it just holds it in the computer's memory so that it can use it later. You hit Control-V, it will paste it. And you keep hitting Control-V to keep pasting it. And just so you know, Control-X will cut and Control-V will paste. The difference between copy and cut is that copy just makes a copy of what you highlighted and stores it in memory to use again, but it doesn't do anything to the original. Well, cut actually removes the original to paste it somewhere else later, even if that somewhere else happens to be right in the same spot. So remember, Control-X is copy, or cut, Control-V is paste, Control-C is copy, Control-V is paste, and Control-Z is undo. Now in Linux, it's a little bit different. A lot of the times in Linux, Control-Shift-Z is redo. But in some documents or applications, for example, GIMP used to use that. GIMP switched to the Windows type of redo keyboard shortcut, which is Control-Y. And now OpenOffice has switched to it also, being Control-Y, even though I disagree with that. So Control-Z is undo, Control-Y is redo in this case. And in some applications for Linux, Control-Shift-Z would be redo. Now, one of the other rules of formatting with legal documents is, well, at least in the state of Ohio, is that the line spacing has to be 2 lines. So right here you see your line spacing. Now I normally only use 1.5, and as you can see, that just adjusts the difference, the space between the lines, to make it more easy to read, so that your eye doesn't lose track of which line it was on. But I use 1.5 and get away with it, but the actual requirement is 2, which, as you can see, is a significant difference. It's almost a waste of space. Now, another thing I'm going to cover is some of the a little bit more advanced options with the text in the table. With the table, you actually have the option to change the table's border color. Now we have to focus in this cell because this border belongs to this cell. That's the cell we were focused in when we created it. So now that we focused in this cell, we can go to eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Line color. There we go. Select the color we want. You probably can't see that neon green. Let's see about blue. Probably can't see that blue. Let's see if I can find a blue you can see. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that by the time this video is transcoded, because it'll be a lot smaller and a lot fuzzier. But anyway, you can change the border's color. It's kind of stupid. Like I said, you get too much color in a document, it looks like crap. And you can also change the background color to the cell that you're in. Evidently this is new. It's only on the line that you're currently focused on. So if you want to change the color on the whole cell, hit Control A while you're in that cell and it selects all text. That's another shortcut I forgot to mention. Control A selects all text in the area that you're in. For example, if you were down here and you hit Control A, it uses the whole document. Because here you're inside of a cell, if you hit Control A, it only focuses on that entire cell. And then you could change the background color to that cell. And hit Control Z to undo. I'm not saving this. Anyway, alright, moving on. You could do the same thing with text, except the option for that would be up here on font color. And as you see, you got your green. And then highlight is a little bit different. As you've seen with font color, it only changes the colors of the letters. Well, with highlight, it actually changes the color of the background. It acts just like a highlighter, hence the word. Now, one thing you need to understand about applying styles to your text is, for example, if you see right here, we start here and end here. Part of our selection that we just made has a style applied to it and part of it doesn't. Well, the rule of thumb with Word documents is when you have a mixed selection like this, what it will do is first it will convert the entire selection to whatever you choose. So if we chose red, it would highlight all of the selection to red, even though there was a mix between green highlighting and no highlighting. If we chose green, it would convert it all to green. Now the second rule of thumb is that if there is that's not what I meant to do. Second rule of thumb is that if the entire selection already is under that current style, for example highlighting, then when you apply that style again, it actually removes it. Well, that's not the case with this. We're going to select no fill. That's the case actually with stuff like bold. For example, we'll highlight part of this sentence and part of a non-highlighted sentence, and we'll select bold. Well, as you can see, this part stays highlighted, this part stays not highlighted, but everywhere I selected is now bold. And for example, we will take part of the bold sentence now and part of a non-bold sentence and apply bold to it. Now it'll make all of it bold. And then applying bold again will remove the bold from that whole selection, since the whole selection was bold. So in other words, if only part of your selection has the style that you're clicking applied, the style type, whether it be a color or a font weight or a font style, if only part of that selection has that applied, then the rest of that section will apply it when you click the button with the mixed selection. If all of the selection has that style applied, it removes the style with text formatting, but not evidently with colors. So let's undo back to a nice thing. Alright, now as far as well, hell, I guess it couldn't hurt to see about importing a picture, see if that's a new feature that I also don't know about. Let's just pick a random picture. I probably shouldn't have chose this folder. And you can't. You still can't. So that's not a big deal though. Anyway. Alright, another thing with tables is you have many options with tables. Let's empty this document out. What? No more undo levels, alright. There, empty document. Now we're going to create a table with